Welcome inside the State Champs Studios on the campus of Lawrence Technological University. Welcome back to another edition of Hockey Time. I'm Jonathon Kidd, along with Sean Baligian. Sean, how are you?
Tremendous, John. Great start to the season. So many good stories out there. So much good hockey being played all over the state, and we're going to talk about it today.
All right, State Champs Hockey Time is brought to you by our friends at the Alta Equipment Company. All right, Sean, let's recap what happened across high school hockey last week. And we start with the Catholic League Championship game between Detroit Catholic Central and Riverview Gabriel Richard, and CC with a 6-0 victory.
Boy, they are rolling right now. Listen, you know the routine with Catholic Central under Coach Cal. They're always going to limit you. They're going to make life difficult for you. But they've got some scoring punch right now as well. How about this? 34 goals in 5 in-state games. They're faster than I've ever seen, and that is not an overstatement. They are flying right now. Landon West, in particular, off to a great start. How about this? 11 goals, 4 assists, 15 points already this season, and they're getting production from everywhere. Now, you know, John, we've been a big fan of RGR, Riverview Gabriel Richard, for a few years now, and for good reason. They had some big wins to get there right now. They're playing another tough slate. It's only going to get them better come playoff time. Certainly, Monks is a kid we talked about for a while. He's off to a good start with 4 goals, 12 assists. Ryan Rainey's still there as well. Seems like we've been talking about him for 15 years, like a quarterback at Iowa, for goodness sake. But Ryan Rainey is still there, and he's still getting the job done. That's a good Gabriel Richard club.
We had an OAA MAC crossover matchup between Lake Orion and Eisenhower, and this was a high-scoring affair, and it ended in a 5-5 tie.
Yeah, you know what? Lake Orion Dragons off to a good start at 3-1-1. Sam Haynes in particular, 8 goals, 9 assists.
What do you think about his introductions there in the locker room?
I thought it was tremendous. Good for him. You know, he's producing in the room. He's producing off the ice. He's obviously producing on the ice. 17 points so far. I hope I'm getting this name right. Ethan Peregi has been huge in net for them. So that's a good story. They got a big matchup coming up with Clarkston. More on that in a little bit. Ike off to a 3-2-2 start. Gabe Russo leading the way. He's got 11 points so far. Evan Hayes has been solid in net. So, yeah, John, some good hockey being played out that way.
We had Flint Powers going on the road at Howell, one of the top teams in Division III in Powers, a 4-0 win over at Howell.
Yeah, good start for Travis Perry and his gang. This is a darn good team. You know, it's interesting because if you remember last year, we were high on Flint Powers, and for good reason. And you know what? So many of those guys are back. You know, that was a young team last year that made a run. You know, obviously, Mason Zarnecki is a guy who's going to be in our Player of the Year conversation. A lot of returners. We talked about their blue line last year in particular. Kurdiak in net. That's a darn good team. Highlanders are 2-2. Now, the interesting thing about it is they are replacing, as you know, a heck of a goaltender in Ian Badgett, who's moved on and had some success of his own. Highlanders 2 wins this year. How about this? 2 shutouts by 2 different goaltenders. So Rocky's got them going. They're doing a good job limiting. Get a little scoring punch in there. It's going to be interesting to see what the Highlanders can do the rest of the way.
On Thursday, we had a KLAA matchup between Brighton and Northville. Brighton came out with a 5-3 victory.
Yeah, I've had a chance to see Brighton already a couple times this year. You know, it's interesting, John. I think the last couple of years we've said that the line at Brother Rice is probably the best line in the state. And those guys are together again. It's Cassidy and Marone and Rosa. I'm going to tell you what, there is a line at Brighton that's going to make a push for this. No doubt about it. You know, if you watch the show at all, I love Duffney. I think he's a heck of a player. You got Duffney, you got Pettit, and now you got Vincent. And Coach Cavisto has put those guys on the same line a few times here and there. When they're playing together, look out. That is a really good line. Duffney off to a great start, 17 points already. I've seen Northville a couple times already. I want to talk a little bit about the Mustangs. You know, John, I live there. But listen, you got a great coach in Ryan Ossenmacher, and I think one of the best moves he made, he already has a fantastic staff with him, but he brought Jay Thompson aboard as well. They are going to get that thing going. They play hard. I'm really looking forward to it. Jackson Morgan has been really good in net for Northville. So that's a team. It's going to be interesting to watch them not only go like this during the course of the year, but what they might be able to do the next couple of years out in Northville.
And lastly, we had Livonia Stevenson. They went out to the west side of the state. They took on Muskegon Mona Shores, and they had a 3-0 victory. Owen Penny is back at Stevenson. So, what do you think about these Spartans?
Yeah, it's interesting. They're off to a great start. They're 5-0. I think one thing for Coach Mitchell and the Spartans right now is they've got some depth. As you mentioned, Owen Penny, bringing a Player of the Year candidate back is huge for any program. But right now, they've got a second line that is really doing work. The other Owen, I'm going to call him. Owen Hall was exceptional in the game that I saw him. They've got a sophomore line, all 3 kids sophomores. They're getting the job done. He's got 5 goals already on the year. Owen Hall, the sophomore, leading the way. Senior Riley Martin has been fantastic in net. So it's going to be fun to see. Listen, Mona Shores is going to be all right as well. No doubt about it. They are one of, I think you could say, the class of the West Side. Obviously, you got Trent Benedict back. He is a POY candidate. Jack Reelman providing that punch up front. Nice to see Carter Detloff come back. He come back, gets a shutout in his first game. Look out for the Sailors.
All right, it's time now for our Warrior Hockey Player of the Year update, and we're going to be revealing our first top 10, Sean.
Yeah, John, let's get it out of the way because this comes up often. This is
very often.
More often than you think. And we were just discussing it off camera with our buddy Chuck in here in his nice new glasses, by the way. If you see Chuck, compliment him on his glasses. But listen, this is not the state champs list. This is not a John Kidd and Sean Baligian list. This is not a John Kidd list. It is not a Sean Baligian list. What I do months ago, trust me, is I reach out to coaches, like literally all over the state, and I ask if they would like to be a part of this, and we nominate, and then I will send text messages back to coaches after the fact if there is an issue. Like this year, there was an issue.
Yeah, about 13, 14 kids.
We had to cram that many into 10. Well, it's not possible. So, I had to ask some guys their opinion and everything. But I always want to make this crystal clear because there are some out there that, come to me and give their pitch job and everything. And I didn't do it. And now, are we part of the process? Absolutely. Are we part of the eventual decision-making? Absolutely. But, John, you and I both know I can think of 2 different occasions without giving names. I can think of 2 different occasions where I picked somebody else at the end for the eventual Player of the Year, and he didn't get it. So, I think that's the fairest way to do it. We live by our criteria. We live and die by our criteria. That's why we always put the criteria up on the screen. John, just for edit purposes, I think that's a great moment to put the criteria up on the screen. But yes, by all means, I want everybody to know this is a group effort in conjunction with some of the coaches out there. If you're a coach and you want to be part of it next year, get a hold of me. I'd love to have you. But more often than not, John, what we try to do is we try to have the coaches that not only are coaching their teams, but maybe involved in some of the things going on in the spring and summer and fall that really get a good look at not only the kids in their league and on their schedule, but kids from all over the state. And so I think we do a fairly good job with that.
All right, you see the top 10 on your screen right now, and the voting begins this weekend. And Sean, the caveat for all this, if you're leading the online vote, you'll be never removed from the top 10.
Well, there's our criteria again. There's a reason why we bring up this criteria, because I think it's a true and tested formula. We've seen it work for so many years in regards to the football side of things here on State Champs, and it's worked for us, Johnny, ever since we started this in 2013? I think 2013 was the first year we did this. So listen, instead of talking about the guys on the list, because I think they speak for themselves, can I bring up some of the guys?
We're going to have a watch list.
I love that you brought that up, the watch list. I think Marone and Brother Rice is a guy that, again, has to go on there. Gabriel up in Marquette, that's a tremendous young player. He just missed the cut. McIntyre in Chelsea, he's been a guy that's been up and down. Jimmy Monks in Riverview, Gabriel Richard, and Mason Zarnecki at Flint Powers. Here's another opportunity to go through one of our old bits. See that list right now? That list is not going to look that way at the end of the year. This is fluid. As guys continue to make a case for themselves and build a resume, they can go on or off accordingly. We've seen that year after year after year. And, John, another thing that we always bring up, there have been guys that started the year off our list that actually won the whole darn thing. So good luck to everybody out there, and thank you most importantly to the coaches for helping us put that together. But that's our first list.
And you can cast your vote starting this weekend at statechampsnetwork.com. And that was our Warrior Hockey Player of the Year update.
Entering its 26th year of excellence, applications are being accepted right now for the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Michigan Male and Female High School Athlete of the Year Awards. Not everyone qualifies, so listen closely. If you are a recognized first-team All-State athlete in a sport or projected to be one this school year, if you have at least a cumulative 3.0 GPA, and if you have demonstrated leadership through the school or as a community volunteer, we want you to apply. 6 male and 6 female student athletes will be nominated, with each being awarded $1,000 of college scholarship money. The winners will receive $5,000 each. The 26th Michigan High School Athlete of the Year Awards will take place at the incredible Detroit Athletic Club in downtown Detroit the evening of Monday, June 5th, and streamed live on the State Champs Sports Network. Nomination applications will be accepted through Monday, March 6th, and this is important. You cannot be nominated if you don't apply. Download the application today at dacathleteoftheyear.com. That's dacathleteoftheyear.com.
All right, it's time now for our Coaches Corner, brought to you by our friends at the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. I'm joined today by the head coach at Carlson High School, Trent Begeman. Trent, welcome to Hockey Time.
Hey, thanks for having us on today.
So you're in your 4th season as the head coach at Gibraltar Carlson. Just talk about your path to be here.
So we went through quite a transition. First couple of years we had a lot of turnover, and then we had the COVID year, of course. But this it started to come together. We have had this crew together for a couple of years, and these kids are just something special.
And just talk about, you guys moved up to the Metro League this year. Just talk about the level of competition that you guys are facing each and every night.
So when our move to the Metro was completely on purpose, and now we're fortunate. We get to play teams like University Liggett. We get to play Gabriel Richard twice, and we just get to play this competition that we didn't see before. And I think it does nothing but benefit Carlson hockey.
And just talk about this year's Carlson Marauders.
So this year's Carlson Marauders really start with the goalie. Isaac Kalasa is a incredible backstop back there. He is a superstar in net, and our team feeds off his energy. We roll 3 lines every game. We're really deep in what we do, and it allows us to really win third periods with this format.
I always ask each coach this on the Coach's Corner: why do you love coaching high school hockey?
There's something special about high school hockey. Whether it's the night game, it's the student section. We have an incredible mosh pit that shows up and does a wonderful job to hype up our kids. But seeing these kids' camaraderie in the school, I get to work in the district and see these kids in the school and be proud to wear that C, be proud to represent their school. You don't get that by playing a sport that isn't for your school.
Well, thank you very much, Trent, for joining us here on State Champs Hockey Time, and we appreciate all the support throughout the years.
Thank you for all you do for high school hockey, and we really appreciate you coming down.
All right, so that was our Coach's Corner, brought to you by our friends at the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. All right, it's time now for our Wall Award update, brought to you by Warrior Hockey. So, Sean, we're going to reveal our first top 10.
Yeah, this is a fantastic top 10, and we may as well call this the Gadwell Award, right? I mean, thanks to.
Did he say anything to you after it aired?
No, he hasn't. But you know what? We can give Coach Gadwell a shout out. It was his idea. He helped make this happen. Thank you, Coach. Here's our 10, John, and much like our POY, If you think that's the only 10, you haven't been paying attention to what we do. The list is going to be fluid. There are already guys that are making a name for themselves. Guys that haven't been, part of it the last couple of years, but, are getting their inaugural taste of hockey at this level, that we already have circles around their names. I can go to the UP and think of one. I can go to the West Side and think of 2 different guys, and I can think of a bunch of guys here in the greater Metro Detroit area right now, but we feel pretty good about this 10 right now. John, and the beauty is, if you have a suggestion, if you feel like there is a guy that maybe is being overlooked, by all means, reach out to either one of us. Put something on Twitter. Don't call us names. It hurts when we're called names. But seriously, we'll keep an eye on them, and we will then throw it to our committee of coaches for their feelings on a particular player. And John, it's going to be a fun year, because I don't think being the key and operative word, I don't think there's a prohibitive favorite in the bunch.
So congratulations to our first top 10 for the Wall Award, and voting will start this weekend on our website at statechampsnetwork.com. And that was our Wall Award update, brought to you by our friends at Warrior Hockey. All right, let's preview the week ahead in high school hockey, and this is presented by our friends at the Alta Equipment Company. So, Sean, on Thursday night, Clarkston against Lake Orion. Now, it seems like no matter the sport, with these 2 schools, it's always a battle.
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. What a fantastic game this should be. 5-0 start for Clarkston, right? They're another team that's scoring a heck of a lot of goals. They've got 36 goals already, and the good news is it's coming from everywhere right now. Theo Walker is leading the way with 12 points, but they are looking good so far. One of a lot of unbeatens early on, John. Clarkson, Holton still unbeaten. Byron Center, who a lot of people feel on the west side of the state is perhaps the best out there. But keep an eye on Clarkston. This start and the way they're doing it, boy, this will be a big one for Lake Orion.
And also, too, I know we mentioned earlier in the show about Sam Hayes in the locker room, but Ryan Lemker also did the introductions for Clarkson a couple weeks ago that we had on camera. So I wonder if that's going to be the battle. Which introduction is going to be better?
Well, winner gets to do the post-game show. How's that? We could do something like that where they get to talk about their win. But no, all jokes aside, it's great to see that, and great to see one of those games on the schedule that you put a circle around.
All right, so we have some showcases going on this weekend, and we'll start with the D3 showcase out in Gaylord.
Yeah, I love D3. I think you know that, John. I've called it the Division of Intrigue for a few years now. I think it's the Division of Intrigue again. To me, when you look at D3 as a whole, we mentioned Houghton, we mentioned Powers, RGR, OLSM, tremendous. GRCC, DCD, Chelsea. There's so much intrigue in Division 3, and I've said this every year we've done this show. I wish more and more schools would have showcases like this. It's great for everybody involved. It's great for the kids, gets them ready for the playoff grind. Obviously, it's great for the fans and we idiots in the media. It's outstanding. I love it. Wish I could be up at Gaylord, but certainly we'll be keeping an eye on the happenings up there.
On Saturday is another edition of the Adam Mitchell Memorial KLAA-MIHL Showcase at the Eddie Egger Arena in Livonia.
Yeah, it's such a great idea, John. This was something, the Brain Trust put their heads together a few years ago and said, well, why don't we, instead of talking about which one we think is best, why don't we put it to the test? And I remember I said, hey, it's like the Big Ten ACC in college basketball. Why don't we do it this way? All day long, games starting at 9 a.m., taking you all the way up to, I'm glad they've made the tradition, CC Brighton the last game of the night. But no, John, it's great. Get to see Celine, too. I'm excited about what Coach Zagata is doing out there. They've got a nice little resume going, and I think it's only going to get better. But, it's all about, no offense to anybody else out there, the true premier leagues in the state, the KLA, the MIHL. Now, if you're offended at me saying that, You know what your league can do? Your league can go out there and win some of those big games as well. I think they've earned that. Certainly the MIHL has earned the crown. They've been wearing the crown for a few years, but another opportunity for the KLA to show, hey, you know what, maybe, just maybe, we're better this year.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. What's your prediction? Can this be the year that the KLAA takes this showcase? Because every year that they have done this, the MIHL has won it.
You know, I look at some of these matchups, and I think it's going to be difficult. I do. It's been close more often than not, but I think with some of these matchups, it's going to be difficult. I'm really intrigued at Heartland and Rice. I think that's one game that I've got a circle around. Trenton and Stevenson is always, to me, that's can't miss. Churchill, Grosse Pointe South. I had a chance to see Churchill. Unfortunately for them, it was their first loss of the year, but they're off to a good start, have an outstanding goaltender as well. So, yeah, there's something for everybody out at Eddie Edgar, and hopefully we'll see out there.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing our show for next week out at the Eddie Edgar Ice Arena, so make sure you say hi to Sean. And, Sean, make sure you say hi to Kurt Cavisto.
Yeah, Kurt's my buddy, right?
I know. Remember, you forgot about that.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what? Kurt and I have been talking a lot lately. I think we're patching things up. It's a work in progress.
And make sure, bring the beef jerky.
Don't do it. No,
I'm just saying. You said it on the show.
No,
I know you said it's a show.
No, we're not.
Jim Friel is going to bring you a boatload.
Well, he can, but I'm a paying customer, and yeah, I mean that's fine. But no, we
I know. I know. We were just joking.
We're the thing about that, John. You and I were joking about this. We get out there very early. By the time that last game's
we're tired.
You should. I watched that show from last year. Look, these dark circles under my eyes, these bags, they were down to there. But, it's fun. It is. It's
well,
great.
You also got a blanket from Heartland, so you could have you could have fell asleep there.
That's all I wanted to. Boy, did I want to. But no, it's and that's the beauty of it. Listen, it's all day. You can come out and you can see some of the best that the state has to offer, and we'd love to see you out there for sure.
All right, so that's it for another edition of State Champs Hockey Time. So, Sean, what do you say at the end of each show?
We'll see you at the rink.
State Champs Hockey Time is presented by Lawrence Technological University. Visit LTUathletics.com and recruit yourself.
State Champs Hockey Time is also presented by Alta Equipment Company. Alta knows when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. Warrior Hockey. Find the right Warrior gear for your high school athlete. Visit www.warrior.com to locate your nearest hockey retailer.
The Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. For all things Michigan High School hockey, go to the Hub. MIHSHockeyHub.com. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Applications being accepted now for the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Michigan High School Athlete of the Year Awards. 6 males and 6 females will win a $1,000 college scholarship and be invited to the DAC in downtown Detroit on June 5th, 2023 to find out who will be this year's Athlete of the Year. Seniors only, and you can't be nominated if you don't apply. Find out more and download the application at dacathleteoftheyear.com.